We are here. What's up? How's everybody doing? How are we all? Sounds fine. 15-ish people around. As more filter in, we'll cover this quick. We have Khazrak, One Eye versus Count Noctilus on the top side of round 4. Then we have a couple games in round 3 to pick up with Bellegar, Taurox, Malus, Darkblade, and Anarian. Kolax, Suneater, and Alarielle await their opponents, and the Chaos Fire Sorcerer is the first qualifier into the live semifinal games that we'll be playing after we catch up on the replays. So we have all the 5 of these replays to get us to our semifinals and get on to the live games. Finals will be best of 3. Semifinals will still be best of 1. I don't have any further ados. Deadly Bunnies asked to watch Neckbet's singular game first so he can leave, so I guess we'll do that first. I guess we'll do Khazrak versus Noctilus and watch that so Deadly Bunnies can have a good day. What up, Neckbet, Hannadins, Pantelinade? Hey, if you guys are ready sooner than the start time I gave you, that's fine. We just have to get through all 5 of these replays, which is why the stream started a touch early. Just a touch early. So, Neckbet on the Vampire Coast is bringing Count Noctilus as per usual, but this is the first time I've seen him take him on his peg leg, backed up by 2 Gunnery Whites on Crabs. We have the 2 bombers. He really seems to like this formation in general of handgunners supported by 2 bombers. We have a bunch of zombies, some with pointy sticks, some with 2 sticks that are less pointy than the others, and a Lamprey's Revenge ROR. Very, very good against the Beastman. Facing off with Razel's Force is 2 Harpies. We have 3 Tuskor Chariots, the Sons of Goros, Centaur ROR. They do have armor-piercing and magic damage in case of some ethereal sirens or something like that. Ungor herds across the front line, 2 Ungor Raiders, triple Chaos Spawn? Yes, I was wondering if they were Minotaurs or Chaos Spawn. We have a Sorcerer of Death with Aspect of the Dread Knight and Spirit Leech. Then we have Traderkin with Brace Scream and Traderkin, plus Khazrak, One Eye on foot to make him a little less shootable, but he is still taking a lot of damage. Personally, in this matchup, at the end of Warhammer 2, I used to just go spam Ungor Raider archers. That was working for me pretty well. We'll see if the chariots can do okay, but I feel like they'll just get caught up on either the crab heroes or the crab ROR and die. Coops! Hey, Coops. How you doing? First of the Tuskor chariots tries to pierce the Vampire Coastline, gets caught up on a crab and Noctilus, and it looks like they're getting shot. Be a real shame if someone tried to use chariots versus Vampire Coast in a tournament game on a stream and then the chariots got caught and died right away. Be a real shame if that happened to anybody. But nobody around here, this has never happened around here, so that's fine. Beastman Blob is forming on the front line as the Tuskor chariots pull away from all the crabs and try to get to safety out through their own front line. One's taken about half its health and damage, the other 2 are largely okay. First the Harpies jumps in, first the Harpies leaves as all the zombies just shoot it to death. Second Harpies also leave. Goodbye. Hello, are we live? Nope. Busting through the replays real quick before we get to the semifinals and finals, which will be live. So this is a replay of Neckbet versus Razel. Sons of Goros taking a nasty shot from Count Noctilus, but they're getting decent damage down to the Gunnery White, who is just healing himself up, so unfortunately that's not going to be a great trade for the Beastman ROR. Unfortunately. The Vampire Coast block has become just a line in which some of the Gunnery mobs are still desperately trying to fire, but it's mostly become a degenerate mass of silliness. Now, if this was Warhammer 3, these handguns could just turn and shoot the front line, but it's not what we're doing here, I guess. I guess Warhammer 2 is just inferior. It's fine, I suppose. Coast is pulling ahead on the balance power, which is tragic for Beastmen. Beastmen start the game ahead. How are the spawn doing? Low, fine, and low. What was that? Overcast Invocation of Heck at the same time as an overcast Traderkin. So everything in this blob for the Vampire Coast is both taking damage and healing at the same time. Alright, that kind of washes out to nothing. Slight benefit for the single entities. Khazrak's getting real low. The sun's getting low, big guy. And he's not enjoying his life. Where are the archers? One of the archers is trying to come back. The other one's about to rout. We have another gunnery mob summon, so I think I've seen at least 3 summons come out of Noctilus already. Though he does have his ability that doesn't cost Winds of Magic to summon, and then he has his Winds of Magic summon. So more to come. More to come. How's the tournament with the abysmal 1.3 patch? It was not broken, but it was boring, is how I would criticize it. It was very blobby, but I didn't notice the ranged units shooting through melee units actually being a big deal. So, that's how I feel about that one. Khazrak still running away, trying to stay alive. Meanwhile, the Brave Shaman of Wilds got clapped by all the crabs, and he got clapped by crabs. That's a double STD. And the Brave Shaman of Death's running away, but this is always the problem for the Beastmen versus the Vampire Coast, is just you can demolish so much of the force so quickly, and then you get down to the crabs. The crabs, the crabs, the crabs. I don't know what else to do here. If you have any Traderkins left, cast them because they're really good against the Erotic Promethean gunnery mobs. But it looks like Nox is just going to shoot this guy and get rid of him real quick. And that'll rout you again. Do you shatter or do you have one more in you? You have one more in you. Look at how hurt Khazrak is. Oof. Oof, boof. My boy. That's good, I guess. Yeah, at least it's not broken. It was just kind of meh. A lot of the matchups where the shooting thing could have been abused or just avoided. Like, no one picked Khorne into Cathay, and there's only one Tzeentch versus Khorne matchup, but the Khorne player, I think it was Blood Penguin. Blood Penguin took out the Flamers very, very quickly with, like, Furies and Dogs and such, and then the Chaos Warriors still lost the game, but they didn't get cheesed. Army losses will hit, and the Crab Blob will prevail for Signor Neckbet. Noctilus getting okay value, his Gunner Rights both doing very well. Zombies bumping and grinding. The polearms all actually almost paid for themselves, which was really nice. Handguns did okay, and Lampert's Revenge did fine. For Razel, poor Khazrak really showed his true colors here. He's been carrying this whole tournament on his back, but not today, not versus the Vampire Coast. So where was that? That was Fleeing from Warhammer 3. Got it. Real quick, popping over the Photoshop, we will take Noctilus, and Neckbet will be our second qualifier for the live stream. We have to cross out Khazrak in his royal colors. Ah, it's behind the thing. Oh no. There we go. Fixed it. Alright, with the Deadly Bunnies placated because Neckbet is now knocked out of the tournament. He's definitely not in the semifinals. He's in Deadly Bunnies, can just leave because his friend Neckbet is gone forever. Goodbye, Deadly Bunnies. Fuck off. Next we have Rusty versus Odium Pantelinade. Beastmen versus Dwarfs. Dwarfs! In my game! Get them out of here. Look at these chump-ass bitches. Look at these chump-ass bitches with lower melee defense than Jade Warriors. Look at these fucking dumb pieces of shit with their less melee defense than Jade Warriors after the formation attack buffs that are coming in 2.0. And wherever the Dwarf Warriors are, they currently are behind Jade Warriors. Look at these not even Jade Warrior fucking dwarves with their less armor and melee defense and melee attack than Jade Warriors. Who even are you, you fucking animals? Get out of this game. You've been replaced. Cathay is the new dwarves now, and they're not even short. Alright, shitting on how annoying the Cathay buffs are aside, let's focus. Makes me wonder though, why is Khorne so... Was Khorne so rarely picked because of the range change though? Maybe, yeah. Maybe. I definitely don't think it helped him, because he's the only one that didn't get a buff from that. And it is most effective against him. Cathay did Cathay things, yeah. Rooting for Beastmen, dwarfs are nerds. Alright, so for RTK Rusty, we have triple Ungor Raiders. We have Ungor Herd, Ungor Herd, Ungor Spearman Herd, Ungor Spearman Herd, Ungor Spearman Herd. So just a bunch of Ungors. It doesn't look like we have any Gors. We have, again, triple Tuskgor Chariot. That's very common in the return to Warhammer 2, but I don't remember the end of Warhammer 2 being that popular for those. We have Harpies, double Manticores, Harpies, 3 Harpies, 2 Manticores. We have double Caster on foot. What? Oh, it's a Wargore. That's not a Caster. We have a Wargore on foot? Okay, it's bold. Brave Shaman of Wilds and Taurox. So I've bitched about this type of build before, but I really don't like it. I don't like an overcommitment of Harpies, because these guys are, what are they 650 gold? That's like 1,800 gold in the sky. And in my experience, Harpies don't even do that well versus Dwarves. Like, you dive the back line, you distract them for a bit like Fellbats, and then you just, like, get routed off, and that was a 650 gold unit. I don't know. I have not seen Harpies do well in this matchup. Maybe they're for gyrocopter cheese? Maybe? I don't know. You'd have to ask Rusty, but I personally don't like them. For the Dwarves of Pantelinade, we have Longbeards, Longbeards, Longbeards. As a front line, we have Double Thunderers, Cannons as the carry potential, a shit ton of Slayers. Slayers, Slayers, Giant Slayers, Dragonback Slayers. Akron's Miners are in the far back, and we have 2 Dwarf Warriors. Of course, for the Lord, as is the tournament way, Bellegar Ironhammer is to be picked throughout. Thunderers are teeing off onto the Harpies, allowing the Manticores to get in. And the Slayers will have to be pulled up very quickly, because Longbeards cannot deal with Manticores in any... Manticores, yes. The Cords of Manta! Anyway, Manticores just take no damage from Longbeards, so you're gonna have to move up. Ungor Raiders are teeing off into Slayers already. Choosing not to attack the Cannons is, a fine decision, I guess. You're this close in, the Cannons are already gonna have limited usefulness. And the Tuskor Chariots already start swarming, and the Dwarves are in a bit of a pickle. While I don't love the Harpy pick, I mean, Chariots are in the lines now. Not enough has been done to really stop them, and it's heavily down to the Giant Slayers to take care of this. Yeah, they can. I mean, Giant Slayers have anti-large armor piercing. Torox and all the Chariots are going to want to avoid them like the Plague. Meanwhile, speaking of Plague, Slayers getting their Slayer job done, becoming Manticore Slayers. One's already out of the fight, essentially. I mean, if he comes back, it's just going to rout instantly again. This is a Traitor Can. It is an overcasted Traitor Can onto 2 infantry units and the Cannons. Decent cast as far as Dwarves go. And the Chariots already come back to muck things up. So 1 Thunderer is shut down, a Cannon is shut down, and ooh, really nice brace game onto the last Thunderer. His leadership wanes, but I think he will survive. Meanwhile, for the Dwarves, they're about where they were at the start of the game for balance of power, so they're not really losing or winning just yet. His Giant Slayers are really hounding Torox, though. They're just falling around the map, making sure he doesn't have a good time. Who dares message me in the middle of this? It does not pertain to this, so I will not acknowledge it. That message does not exist to me. Cannons are somehow still online, trying to shoot Tuskor Chariots, but they're obstructed, quote-unquote, which is usually the point where I would start to manual fire them just to get a couple shots off while they're busy being dumb. Akron's Miners bomb the shit out of their own Dwarf Warriors. Ah, that's funny. Alright. Take that, you Dwarves. Balance power is about even, which means the Beastmen have lost a little bit. And I would agree. Both their Tuskor Chariots that we can see here are very, very low. The third one behind that is fine, but still 2/3 of your Tuskor Chariots are about dead. Torox and Bellegar are about to have a duel, and Bellegar's greatest strength is that he is too short to get hit by Torox's charge, and Torox just keeps jumping over him, and that's the narrative I'm going with. So Bellegar going underneath Torox, it's all a plan and not just some silly RNG things. Torox is stuck in a fight. Meanwhile, surrounded by Dragonback Slayers, this is a terrible position for him to be in. He's also getting poked by Thunderers, and if he dies here, definitely so does the Beastmen cause. Oof, ba-boof. Ungor Raider still shooting at the Giant Slayers, but Beastmen will call it. Excuse me. Bellegar didn't have to do much. He just stood around, did his thing. Longbeards held the front line till the dark days came. Thunderers died. Cannons died, honestly. Slayers did very well. Slayers hard carried. For Rusty, Torox was just running around trying to find something to do, but couldn't really get anywhere meaningful. Ungors did Ungor things. Ungor Raiders shot a bit. Tuskor Chariots got shut down by Slayers. Harpies struggled. Manticore struggled. So, the Slayer box. Triumphant. That'll take Bellegar Ironhammer up to fight Kolek Suneater. And Torox, you suffer the fate of many cows, put to slaughter before his time. I'm gonna give Torox hot pink just because I feel like he deserves it. Boop, 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 boop. Eat my ass. Malus Darkblade versus Anarian. Loopy versus the Phoenix King. And if you weren't here for the last streams, you don't know who the fuck Anarian is. 1, he's from High Elf lore, and 2, it's just a prince. It's just the Phoenix King is taking a prince and he's naming him Anarian. That's all it is. And Malus Darkblade. Today I learned Wargors are a thing that exists in this game. They do, they're very cool. They're not that good, but they're very cool. Dwarves are literally subhumans, like they live under stuff. Harpy's only there against Gyro Cheese. Alright, so keeps confirming it. It's funny that people refuse to play Cathay in turns tournaments, even resorting to a Nurgle mirror match to not play Cathay. I don't know if he would consider us friends. But you know, I'm going to say it. My best buddy in all of Warhammer 3 likes Cathay versus... Well, not versus. He just likes Cathay in Domination mode right now, and he thinks people are underselling them. And he has told me much about it. So I'm surprised no one would play Cathay. Duck, Dodge, Duck, Dip, Dive, and Dwarf. Agree. So on to this game. Now that I'm done getting caught up with chat, the Phoenix King has double Eagle Claw Bolt Throwers. We have double Dragon Princes. A Mage of Life with Regrowth and Earthblood. Anarian! Prince and Emperor! Or whatever the fuck. He's Karl Franz of the Elves. Triple Lyran Reaver Archers and a bunch of Rangers. This is a build we saw earlier when he had to take on the Dark Elf Sorcerer of Dark. From... I forget what player. It's not Karadoc. Was it Berserk? I don't remember. It was a very close game, which came down to some cycle charging stuff. Damn it. I need to remember who that player was. They were very good. On the other side, we have Malus Darkblade on Spite, a Sorceress of Death with Aspect of the Dread Knight and Spirit Leech, triple Scourge Runner Chariot, backed up by some Dark Riders and Cold One Knights. Dark Riders and Cold One Knights on the other side? No, just Cold One Knights. They're the Dark Riders. I was like, Cold One Knights never go anywhere alone. A couple Bleak Swords and a couple Witch Elves in the back line, but it's mostly about the cavalry for them. I got wins on Plant and Hadri's with Cathay, but it wasn't streamed. Hey, it's Dark Age Rush! What up, Dark Age Rush? How you doing? Hungamungus Boy lying to the chat he doesn't have any friends. It's true. It was against Natre. Ah, yes. Alright, Cold Knights take a charge on the Dragon Princes, but Anarian just roasting them down with a nice breath attack. Very good stuff there. And a huge charge attack followed up by another, but it looks like that one misses. And their leadership crumbles away. That was a beautiful cap engagement from the High Elves. Very nice stuff there. What is not as nice for the High Elves is, you know, the rest of the fucking map. 3 Illyrian Reaver Archers, one of them's half dead, the other one's taking a little bit of poke. The Rangers are going to lose the front line. I think we saw this last time Phoenix King played with this Ranger front line. They just lost the Bleak Swords pretty heavily with all the support they got from Scourge Runner Chariots and whatnot. Dark Riders on the backside are going to get caught by Dragon Princes, but this could be used as a good bait if they keep running away. Loopy has a good handle on his cavalry. He always does. Loopy is infamous for his pure cavalry builds. Infamous, I tell you. Anarian is going to land on Malus Darkblade. The emo man himself pops a blood price and says, fool, you have fallen into my trap. He's going to turn and start fighting. As Cold Knights and Scourge Runner Chariots stream forward to try and trap Anarian down. Meanwhile, more Scourge Runners and Dark Riders will fight with these Lyran Reaver Archers. Trading okay as they get side charged by Dragon Princes, but that's not the point. They're mostly trying to keep all these cav off of Malus and Anarian. High Elves' front line is falling apart. High Elves' back line has fallen apart, but their skirmish cav and their single entities are still very strong. For the Dark Elves, their cavalry has been taking a big hit, and Malus himself is quite weak, but they have all 3 of their Scourge Runner Chariots still very healthy, and they have some moderately okay infantry, but for the most part, both sides have some dead infantry. As I say that, I noticed some Bleak Swords and Witch Elves that are still full health, but alright. I guess I will give the Dark Elves a slight infantry advantage, but I don't think they're going to decide this. There's so few infantry left. It's a cav and single entity game now. What is this? Dark Rider's fighting something, but there's healing getting cast, which should be on the High Elves. On the Dragon Princes, but their flag isn't over here. Their flag is all the way over there. Okay, cool. Anarian lands on Malus again, is going to hit him, and can Malus transform before he dies? One more hit and he's dead, but Oh, I don't know if he died or not during that, but he definitely reappeared as Tazarkan. Now the Prince might be in a bad situation as he's stuck on the ground, surrounded by Cold One Knights, and he's rampaged by the Witch Elves as Scourge Runners are all shooting him. All these arrows flying in from both sides, but it looks like Malus is getting the upper hand on the Prince. Maybe there's a regrowth coming for him, but he needs to leave this spot, and he can't because he's rampaged. Now he is routing, and will he ever return to this map? The High Elves take a massive hit on the balance of power as this, like, 4,000 plus dragon model just gets put into the dirt by Malus Darkblade. God damn. And I think that'll be it. As Anarian shatters, so do the hopes of the High Elves. That was a good game. That was so close to Malus dying before transforming. So close. Well played by the Phoenix King, making the Prince look OP. Scourge Runners did fine. Everything else on the Dark Elf roster struggled in this matchup until the big catch. For the Prince, 2,200 value. Life Mage was just doing Life Mage stuff. Dragon Princes had some pretty good trades overall. Skirmish Cav, I have a hard time believing in Alarian Reave archers. They don't feel that effective to me usually, but I'm a well-known shitter when it comes to skirmish cav. I'm real bad at it, so maybe you don't want my opinion on them. Go back to the Photoshop. Malus advances. And Anarian falls. Prince of Oathwad. Ah, that's Tyrion. I just like that. I love Tyrion. 2 more replays, then we'll get on to the live games. We are running a little bit earlier than I told the players, but I saw some of you in this YouTube chat. If you are in this YouTube chat and you know you are in the semifinals because these are replays, you know how they turned out. If you could get a lobby going, start your builds and whatever, that would be good, and I would appreciate that. Oh, we'll be there in a second. We have 2 more replays to go through, so roughly 20 minutes. Kolek versus Bellegar in ODM Civil War. ODM's the green one versus ODM Pantelinade. I gotta be rooting for my boy Kolek here. It's nothing against Pantelinade, alright? I know. You and I always don't see eye to eye. I know you hate me, and I hate you, Mr. Pantelinade. But this isn't about us. This is about Bellegar versus Kolek, and I gotta go with my boy Kolek. I love my boy Kolek. He's my favorite Chaos Lord. Even though Sartorial, Sigvald, and Archaon are almost always better choices, you gotta root for the boy Kolek. We love him. Alright, who dares ping me during this time of strife? Okay. It's Murph talking about hacks. Hacks is my voice cracks and I go back to high school. Okay, cool. None of these chats pertain to me. Let's go. Chaos versus Dwarves. 2 Feral Manticores for ODM's the green one. We have Chaos Warhounds of Poison, 2 of them. We do have Kolek Sun Eater in the far back, just trying to avoid cannon fire for now. Other than that, it looks like great weapon spam between Chaos Warriors and Chaos Marauders. Chaos Sorcerer of Death and the Mirror Guard. Wait, how many Chaos Warriors of great weapons are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 5. I was just being dumb. Simple build, walk forward, stab dwarves, win game. On the other side, for Pantelinade, we have Longbeards, Longbeards are great weapons, Longbeards, Longbeards are great weapons, and Longbeards. All's the front line. It looks like we have double cannon. Double Slayer or Triple Slayer? Triple Slayer, one of which is a Giant Slayer. Dwarf Warriors and Thunderers in the back line as well, and Bellegar Ironhammer plus the Ekron's Miners. I'm noticing this tournament, a lot of people have kind of a flavor of build they like to take, and just take it anyway. Which semi supposed to be played first? Top of the bracket, but it doesn't matter that much. Doesn't matter that much. It's a best of one. Whichever one we're going to is going to be done very quickly. Alright. I have a lot of chat to catch up on. We'll do that after this replay, I guess. Chaos Warhounds of Poison, really angling around, but Pantelinade has a nice formation. Real quick, I am well known to be a box player, and I don't deny that when I play Skaven, because I feel like Skaven gets forced into a box a lot. I really like what Pantelinade's doing here, where he doesn't feel like he needs to spread himself so thin to go like full box coverage. He has an open backside, but what he does is he just puts Slayers on top of all the ranged assets. So the ranged assets are in mini boxes, and there's an open backside, but it's like, what are you going to attack? You can attack Slayers, you can attack Slayers, you can attack Ekron's Miners. Good fucking luck. So I like that, you know. Just as a, if you can't spread your geometry over an entire box, there is ways to protect what guns you need to protect, so thought I'd shout that out. The green one is going to chuck his Chaos Warhounds of Poison, try to get in on the cannons, just force path them through the Slayers and try and attack, just knowing that they might be dead regardless, and the Slayers do take a Spirit Leech. Chaos Warhounds are losing that fight, but actually they don't waste any money on armor piercing or anything, so they're getting good damage down onto the Slayers, considering how much they cost. They cost half as much as those Slayers, so maybe not the worst trade in the world. Definitely not what he wanted out of the dogs, though. He wanted that cannon shut down. Chaos Warriors taking a punishing on the front, but this always happens in this matchup. The main point is how many Chaos Warriors are still alive when they get there, because they will beat all the Dwarves in melee combat, which they should. Chaos Warriors should be the best at melee things. Changed my mind. And now the Dwarves get to start trading. God damn. Without Thoric Ironbrow to really buff up your entire army, they will convincingly lose this Chaos fight. in the melee, so it's all about these Thunderers, who are still, to be fair, very healthy, and both cannons are actually still online. One dog is about half health, the other dog has run off the map. Kolek has been dodging around this rock for the longest time, not taking any damage, which is really nice. He needs to distract into cannons for a lot of time, but that is a lot of funds to take as a cannon sponge, so he does need to get in here and get active somehow. It looks like the green one's really angling to try and do that, but so far he's kept Kolek very, very healthy. That is impressive stuff. I am a well-known Kolek lover, but I'm also well-known... Oh, fuck, my Kolek died player. Here he does come in range with the Thunderers. Thunderers are much harder to dodge, but a Manticore does hop in just to muck him up for a little bit and buy some time. Meanwhile, Kolek is going to assist the front line. It looks like he's going to try and just walk down the line and win every melee fight back to back to back to back and push the Dwarves off the map, is what it looks like to me. Meanwhile, these basic Chaos Warriors without great weapons aren't doing much damage, but they are mucking up 2 Dwarven units. Now with the Dragonback Slayers zoning off the Manticore, Kolek could be in danger as the Thunderers are freed up to fire, and he has nowhere to go, no trees to hide in, no friends to distract the Thunderers, so Kolek could be taking a brutal volley here. On the other side, the Manticore was doing a similar thing, and no Slayers over there ready to stop him. Kolek's getting whittled down, and it looks like Micro Drop for just a second for the green one, and he is now running yet again. Another Spirit Leech is cast on the Dragonback Slayers, and dogs are throwing away their lives just to shut down the Thunderers long enough for Kolek to help yet another fight go their way. Chaos Warriors with great weapons are pushing through the hole that Kolek made for them and running up, and these are just... I don't know. This is just really impressive play from both players. I'm really liking a lot of the decision-making here. Like, memes about Dwarves aside, both players have been playing this actually really, really well. I love what Kolek's doing, just going up the line and offering support to all these engagements, because you can see once the Chaos Warriors get onto the back line, it starts to go very poorly for the Dwarves. Dragonback Slayers don't have any armor piercing. Thunderers sure as hell don't want to be in melee, so it's the Chaos players definitely recognizing that Kolek isn't the win condition. The Chaos Warriors are, and he just needs to free them up. He is now taking a duel against Bellegar Ironhammer, and while he is trying to win it, Bellegar is no slouch. He has 60 melee defense and 120 armor, so he is weathering the storm quite well, and Kolek's anti-large is not helping him at all. While he is beating Bellegar, I guess his job is done. Over here, these Chaos Warriors have already lost. There's nothing to support, and these Chaos Warriors are now coming to join the fight. Bellegar is taken down, and I guess that was a good decision. All right, I wouldn't have guessed so, but it turned out fine. Good job, Kolek. Now, the Dwarves are appearing out of sorts, but can they just withstand with Slayers alone? Maybe? The Chaos Warriors are awful beat up. Like, they won their fights, but they're very low. Humongous boy line to the chat. It was Natre. Neckbet, he's also well known Cathay Box Fiend. I think he's talking about himself. Elves continuing to kick each other from the tournament, I see. Loopy's Cavalry always concerning to face. Elves versus Elves, no matter who loses, we all win. The Prince reliably hits. What's this heresy? Yeah, I don't know. The Phoenix King specifically, but also the Prince is very good at hitting. Alright, caught up on a bit of chat while we were doing some stuff. So Bellegar is getting chased around by Kolek. The Death Sorcerer is trying to kite away from some Slayers, but they are faster than him, so they will catch up. And Kolek really doesn't want to take that fight. Slayers are quite good against him. Chaos is running into a bit of a grind issue. They're ahead on the balance of power, but you can see more and more Chaos Warriors are starting to get peeled off the map. So much so that we have one warrior that's healthy-ish but has no armor piercing, and another warrior that's almost dead and has armor piercing, and that's it for the Chaos Infantry. The rest of it's down to single entities. Getting a little scary there. Loopy wanted to play High Elves, and instead he's on a killing spree against them with Malus Darkblade. Pantelinade, is it because you're a dwarf? Yeah, that was the joke, but I don't actually hate you. You're a G. You're more rooting for the skins. At least Kolek isn't the Chaos Lord. Yeah. Alright. So as a little bit more grinding goes on, Kolek does finish off Bellegar, which will spike down the leadership of the Dwarves, causing these Dwarf Warriors and these Longgrids with great weapons probably to rout soon. Manticores are sweeping at the last of the Thunderers. There is a bit of Benny healing, so I'm going to hit the ×2 for a bit. But I do worry about... The balance of power says Chaos has got this. I'm getting concerned about their staying power. Because this Sorcerer accounts for a lot of balance of power, but he doesn't have any shit left in the tank at all. Kolek could get gunned down by Thunderers pretty easily, or surrounded in Slayers, so you can see that balance of power change a lot. And Manticore's one bad Rampage surrounded by Slayers is enough to lose this entire game. How are we doing on Slayers? I see 3 units, all pretty wounded, but they're around. Like, they're doing okay. And the Sorcerer is almost routed. He does manage to rally. So Kolek commits. He's diving in with the last of his Chaos Warriors and his Manticores. They're terror routing off some of the Thunderers, trying to get rid of anything that is breakable and just leave the unbreakable troops to grind through them. Chaos Warriors will do very well against Slayers, so it would be nice if they were still somewhat alive at the end of this. But you can see the Manticore is getting chunked down. Watch that balance of power at the top. I promise you it's going to swing wildly if this Manticore dies, because Chaos Sorcerer is already routing. The Manticore is now routing, and just like that, the Dwarves are all of a sudden back in this game. Kolek's really the only Chaos thing that's not routing at this moment, plus this Chaos Warrior that is just on the edge. But Kolek himself is going to start taking tons of damage. He's surrounded by Dragonback Slayers. The Giant Slayers are in here somewhere. Oof, 27 Giant Slayers. That is going to be probably it. Dwarves are still behind in the balance of power. I think that's bullshit as Kolek is about to rout. And while still negative on the balance of power, army losses is going to hit. I got concerned when the Chaos Warrior started to run thin. That was scary. Very well played by both players. I liked that a lot. That was very nice. Very, very nice. Spread out damage value on the Dwarves, but again, the Slayer's coming through for Pantelinade. For the green one, Kolek did well, considering you're fighting Dwarves. It could be hard to get your value back. Chaos Warriors' Great Opens did fine. Dogs were sacrificial, but honestly almost paid for themselves, and Manticores did well also. The game was so close. It makes sense. Both sides are going to get all their value. And that was nuts. Dwarves will advance to fight the Vampire Coast, and I didn't want to spoil anything talking about Neckbet, but yeah, Neckbet messaged me and he's like, well, fuck this. So he's very excited to fight Dwarves. Very excited to fight Dwarves as Vampire Coast, sorry. Kolek is out. Well played, the green one, though. Last replay before the live games. Malus Darkblade versus Alarielle. Our semifinals is currently Vampire Coast, Dwarves, and Chaos. Will High Elves or Dark Elves join them? Time to find out. Can Malus Darkblade kill his, like, 4th High Elf in a row? He killed Imric, I think. Did he kill Imric? I know he killed a High Elf, I forget which one. Then he killed Anarian. Now he has to kill Alarielle. I want Kolek versus the Sorcerer Lord finals. Unfortunately, you will not get that. Which semi is supposed to be played first? I think I mentioned that. The top one would be preferable in Neckbet versus Pantelinade, but whichever is honestly fine. Phoenix King's Anarian is brutal. It is. Giant Slayers are actually quite good here. Giant Slayers, Pantelinade makes them look incredible. Bring back Broken VP. Please bring back before semis. Good to see Chad Kolek is doing fine. Yeah, he did well. It was a good game. It was a very close game. Why did it have to be Dwarves? Anyone else left it? Anyone? It could have been Wood Elves. Khazrak said the same to the VP. Vampires versus Dwarves. No one brings any melee units. And Karadoc says, Mommy, final boss. All right, I'm all caught up. So Karadoc, I believe you are on the Alarielle, unless I'm mistaken. So Karadoc is currently piloting the High Elves. We see the triple Alarian Reaver Archers. Apparently the Phoenix King and Karadoc had a similar idea that they're good. I personally think they're bad, but, you know, I'm wrong about things. That is fine. Karadoc also brought an Arcane Phoenix, and as a backline, triple Dragon Princes, including the Fireborn, Alarielle the Radiant on horse, and 4 of Avalorn's Dryads. Interesting. For the Dark Elves of Lupi, Cold One Knights, we would expect no less of the Cavalry Master. Triple Scourge Runner Chariots, we have Malus Darkblade, a Sorceress of Death with Spirit Leech, an aspect of the Dread Knight. We have 1 Dark Rider, and that looks like it's it. Other than that, Black Ark Corsairs to duel with Dryads and Rangers. And it looks like 2 Witch Elves. 2 Witch Elves. Neat. What up, Zep? Khazrak didn't have to fight Dwarves. Death is preferable to playing against Dwarves. As a Skaven player, I don't know what you're talking about. Dwarves are great. Kiara, that's pretty funny, if you're even here. Little bit of skirmishing. Scourge Runner Chariots fighting the Alarian Reaver Archers. They're running low on ammo. That is a big thing, is that they're not getting to use their ammo on the Dragon Princes. While they're winning the skirmish fight with the Alarian Reaver Archers, there's also a little bit of a who cares element to it. Like, all right, you've almost killed an Alarian Reaver Archer. The other 2 are full health, and all of your Scourge Runners are like half ammo. So I do think that could be maybe what Karadoc's doing here with the Alarian Reaver Archers. Is just like, hey, shoot at me, not my Dragon Princes, hey. Now, the good work they have done is look at that Arcane Phoenix. It is not having a good time. You do have Alarielle as your lord as the High Elves. There's plenty of healing available, but still, half HP off of it is not great, meaning you have to spend healing on it sooner than you would want, and its healing cap is coming in faster. That's the big thing with Alarielle's faction, is it's all about the healing cap, not about the current health. Nasty shot on the Sorceress of Death, but it looks like Malus is going to be able to punish the Arcane Phoenix, and if you know of the replay Mr. Teufel sent me, you'll know that Malus and the Arcane Phoenix have a fucking thing. They have a thing. They have grudges to settle. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, keep an eye on the YouTube channel. I think it comes out in a week and a half, but let's just say Malus and the Arcane Phoenix have a grand duel. Dark Riders are pushed off by the Lyran Reaver Archers using more of their ammunition, but that is a good trade. Are they shielded? No, those are unshielded, so yeah, they took a lot of damage. And so far, the damage value trade is in the favor of the Dark Elves a little bit, but I worry about their ammunition. Because the Dragon Princes are going to be rough here. With tons of healing and support from Alarielle, 3 of them versus 2 Cold One Knights, they should run the mobile game quite effectively without Scourge Runners pushing them down. The Scourge Runners, like, at this point it's too late. You know, there's not enough ammo to really dictate that, so it is 3 uncontested Dragon Princes. Now, Loopy does throw out a couple Spirit Leeches, trying to whittle them down now, but I don't know. I think you could use the Scourge Runners in melee to try to zone off the Lyran Reavers, but using their ammo I just don't find worth it, personally. Dragon Prince is riding out to try and finish off these Dark Riders. Does Loopy notice it's happening before they hit? It does not look like he will. And the rallied Dark Riders are going to get absolutely slammed by a side charge from the Dragon Princes. They go down, the Dragon Princes don't even show the damage on their health bar. We're down to 1 Lyran Reaver Archer, so that is something, but most of them are almost out of ammo, so they're going to become slightly less Lyran Reaver Cav. So, they're still functioning. They're good for cycle charging, good for chasing stuff off the map. It's fine. High Elves are now starting to move in a little bit, and as I say that, they run away. Happy enough with the kiting potential for the moment. Scourge Runner Chariots turn their last couple shots onto the Dragon Princes, and it looks like they're facing the wrong way, so their shields won't help them. But ammo is just about to run out, so I don't think anybody is particularly perturbed with that. Cold One Knights try to catch them. The Dragon Princes are either faster or the same speed. They're faster, so they can get away. They're fine. They are fine. Once Alarielle runs out of skirmish cav ammunition, they will have to engage. Dark Elves have been trying to engage this entire time, but the High Elves are just fine with what's going on. Charging up some Winds of Magic with Alarielle, conserving some healing, using up Scourge Runner ammo. Gonna hit this for just a second. And Dragon Princes, the Fireborn specifically, take another Spirit Leech and charge into the Black Ark Corsairs. But an Earthblood will heal all of these up a little bit. As long as they don't lose any models for the Fireborn, they'll be okay. On the backfield, Dragon Prince is almost getting caught up by Cold One Knights just a little bit, and Loopy is shadowing with Witch Elves to try and rampage them into a bad situation, and that is exactly what he does. As Scourge Runner Chariots, Lyran Reavers are flying in to help out, but the Scourge Runner Chariots are going to rear charge them, and this might be a massive break for the High Elves. They could all route off here, maybe. Now, there's no support magic from Malus or anything, so if Alarielle can get over here and cast some healing, her Dragon Princess will win the fight, but it looks like she is particularly busy in the middle as her Precious Fireborn and Arcane Phoenix are getting bodied by the center of the Dark Elf force. So she needs to cast Star of Avalorn and Earthblood over here, but it is worth it as Loopy's Cold One Knights are entirely shattered and pushed off, so are the Black Ark Corsairs, and Witch Elves are fighting to the bitter end alongside Malus. Malus is fighting the fucking Arcane Phoenix again, and this time he's going to land a hit, god damn it. Again, go watch that video if it's out. I forget if it's out or not, but if it isn't, wait for it. It's a fucking joy. Arcane Phoenix is going to peace out and leave Malus to his cronies, the Fireborn, all beating up on the poor Darkblade. Now, this fight did go well for the Dark Elves. They routed off a bunch of the skirmish cav. They routed off an entire Dragon Prince. They lost a Cold One Knight for it, which is true. But the fight overall has gone so heavily in favor of the High Elves at this point. You can see the balance of power shifted massively in their favor. Malus hasn't transformed yet, but he is at half HP, so he'll have to do so soon. I don't see the Sorceress of Death, so she might have gotten sniped out by the bird or any of the Dragon Princes, honestly. Dark Elves have no cav left. Their Scourge Runners are all out of ammo, and that is looking really rough for them. I don't see how they can do it, because Malus can't 1v 35 some Dragon Princes. He's just not that type of character. I do think Karadoc will be popping off. To a semi-final berth, and the High Elves will make it through the faction war to that point. I think they'll fight Chaos, which is traditionally a real bad matchup for the High Elves, but Karadoc's a Chad. Maybe he can do it. Not to be too doom and gloom, I just don't see any way that Dark Elves can win this game. Alarielle still full health. She has tons of healing left in the tank. We still have some healthy Dragon Princes. Arcane Phoenix is almost full HP, though its healing cap is within sight. And Malus is now transforming into Zarkan before army losses hits. So he's going to see how hard he can carry. Reaper of Souls does a lot of damage to these Dragon Princes. Larry needs to be nearby. She needs to be giving healing to this blob. I mean, while I think the High Elves have it locked up and army losses is within sight, like, you still have to play it right, or Malus could tip it back against you. Now, while his health is slowly draining, Karadoc's running away with all of his forces. He's just trying to focus on chasing down routing units and not fighting Malus as much as possible. He's just going to let Malus bleed out as he chases down some of the Scourge Runners. The Scourge Runners do rally and all of a sudden start fighting the Dryads. And quickly, Larry lobs up some Dragon Princes and the Arcane Phoenix for a little bit of a heal party. Dryads are stuck fighting Malus. Army losses officially did hit, and he is unbreakable, so the High Elves have positioned themselves as far away as possible, and then when Malus wins the fight, they send in just the Dryads, run away with all the important units. Very nice control from Karadoc. Doesn't see any reason to chuck everything in at once and potentially lose the game. Just knows he has it in hand. No, he doesn't have to do anything. Excellent play. And Malus is down. Well played by Loopy. Going through the whole tournament, fighting High Elf after High Elf. But eventually, your luck runs out. Malus did fine. Deathcaster did fine. Blackguard Corsairs honestly underperformed what I thought they would do. Witch Elves were there for Rampage. They're kind of a support unit. Did fine. Colton Knights did what they could, but it was a 3v2. Scourge Runner Chariots got high value, but I personally did not enjoy how they were being tactically used. But I don't know, man. Loopy's a better Dark Elf player than I am, so I'm sure he has his reasons. Dryads did fine. It was mostly the Dragon Prince show. You can see some good values on them. Lyran Reaver Archers just about paid for themselves, and the Arcane Phoenix did fine. Boom, boom, boom. That's it. No more replays. It is only live games from here on out. And we're at 1:43, so I'm only 17 minutes early from what I told the players to be ready for. We have our semifinalists. We'll give our final send-off to Malus Darkblade. Also, thanks to Loopy for popping in last second. He was a mercenary replacing Zypher, who unfortunately was not able to play. So, thank you for being available on short notice. You're a Giga Chad. I'm going to message the players, see if Noctilus and Bellegar are ready for us on the top side. But other than that, it doesn't matter to me. Noctilus versus Bellegar is ready. I see their lobby. We'll have neck that fight, Pantelinade. And I'll put a poll up in a second. I gotta get a blocker. Okay, I don't see anything. Yeah, they don't have anything up yet, so I can add a blocker while we're here. Image file. Desktop. Faction war photo. There we go. Lovely, lovely. Does anybody need anything from me? No, it looks like we're fine. I'll message the players and say, I'm in. Start whenever. I'm in. Start whenever. Blocker's up. Pantelinade just loaded an army and hit ready. So I think he was ready. I think he purposely didn't have his army loaded up in case I came in here without a blocker. Checking up with chat. Voidlaw is saying go Karadoc. Well, Karadoc won. So can he defeat ODM and go all the way to the finals? We will see. You liked that almost all the elves are in one bracket. Alright. I'm starting a poll real quick. Just give me a second. High Elves. VP. Dwarves. Or Chaos. Let's see what you guys think. Who's going to win it all? High Elves, Dwarves, VP, or Chaos? And Hannadins and Karadoc, if you're out there, get your lobby set up, get your builds ready. We'll be along as soon as this game's over. Thank you for your patience. Thank you, thank you. We're already in. Blocker comes down. It's because we need one Elven champion, not a bunch of pointiers. For the builds, I feel like the Dwarves are going to move less, so I'll cast them first. We have double cannon from Pantelinade, really likes them. A shit ton of Quarrelers. 5 Quarrelers. We have his classic Slayers, a lot of Slayers, Dragonback Slayers. 4 Slayers total, one of which is the ROR. Then we have Dwarf Warriors as the front line. No Longbeards this time, doesn't think he needs them versus the Vampire Coast. I don't think he has enough infantry really to box. I imagine he'll just be pushing up. Ooh, it's triple cannon. Also, Bellegar and Hammer, of course, is the Lord. Of course. That is a common strategy. This is generally thought of to be a shit matchup for the Vampire Coast. Dwarven Cannons will outtrade Carronades, and then without their ranged advantage, Coast can really struggle. For Neckbet, we have Queen Bess, Zombie Pirate Deckhands mobs. We have Quadruple Sirens, a bunch of zombies with pointy sticks. We have 2 Scurvy Dogs, 2 Fellbats, and then 1 Deck Dropper Bombers. Interesting choice. We have 2 Gunnery Whites, but they are on foot, not on their crabs. And we have Count Noctilus also on foot, not on his big boy. This is a weird build. I'm used to crab spam from the Vampire Coast. Even versus Dwarves. I don't know what happened. What happened? Alright, we don't need the blocker because their army should stay the same. Oh, we lost Panta. Oh, we lost the host. Alright, I messaged Neckbet telling him not to shoot his opponents before the game starts. Oh, Pantelinade was on Ultra. He was on Ultra unit size. Okay, so they just had to fix it to large unit size. Trying the Tretch campaign today, I see. So it should be same builds. Same builds, we'll get right back into it. There was some, on my patch 1.3 is a mess video that had mixed reception, and like, I know someone was in the chat a bit ago who enjoyed it. Like, they enjoyed patch 1.3, that's fine. I'm entitled to my opinion, but you're entitled to yours. If you're having a good time with Warhammer 3, I do not begrudge you for having a good time with Warhammer 3. Doesn't mean I have to, though. There was an interesting, someone proposed it in that video, and I don't remember who it was, but they said we should go back to large unit size for a bit. I would be interested in trying that after IE comes out. Like, IE comes out, let's not fuck with too much shit at the same time. So let IE come out, see how it goes, and if people are still having issues with IE, try it in large size. Because that could be something. I have noticed that, like, single entities, though I think Loopy was telling me that it sucks that single entity, if you reduce size from ultra to large, your single entity damage also goes down. So, like, let's say the Elemental Bear is 600 on large, it'll have like 450 or something. Because that is one thing that annoys me is how tanky single entities feel, just because, like, an Exalted Bloodthirster does 600 damage per swing. Well, Kugoth has 14,000 health, so he's gonna, that Exalted Bloodthirster's gonna have to hit him 28 times in a row to kill him if he never heals himself, which healing is all over the fucking game, so he's gonna heal himself. So I wish if you went down to large, it's like the units would still do the same damage, because my biggest gripe with Game 3 is just how tanky single entities are, because it feels like decisions were made so that no one could get, like, bursted, which is a legitimate criticism. I get that. Like, some people don't like making one mistake and losing a unit. That's an opinion you can have. That's fine. I'm just of the opinion. I like the games to go fast, fast, fast. So I like, in a way, if you fuck up once, it's like, ah, shit, I lost that. Okay, well, this game's over. It only took us 5 minutes, instead of, like, we've had some games recently where I could have called it a while ago, but it ends up being a 15-minute slugfest as you're just like, the Kislev Kossars don't have enough ammo to kill Kugoth, and Kugoth's just gonna wait them out, so we have to sit here till army losses happens, but we all know how this goes, or, like, you know, stuff, shit like that, so, I don't know. Like, different people like different things. Human boy, if you like fragile units, why don't you like elves? Because fuck elves. Go Malus, take vengeance for the Sundering. No one tell him what happened. Alright, we're back. Same armies, same setup, just not on Ultra Funds this time. Dwarves don't have too much of a box going. They have some Slayers in the back just to watch out for scurvy dogs or something in the vanguard, but it does look like the Dwarves are going to want to push up to use their Quarrelers to full effectiveness. Queen Bess is hidden behind a terrain piece, so the cannons shouldn't be able to shoot her super easily. But there's a couple angles they could get in here. So it's a nice play by Neckbet. I like it. But I don't know if it'll save her from her fate. Queen Bess's first shot, perfectly accurate as all things should be, firing at the edge of a dwarven formation. Now we get to see, does Neckbet's fortress protect him, or will cannonballs fly through those trees and hit Bess anyway? Dun 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 dun. It looks like they couldn't shoot him, so they are refocusing onto the infantry. Cannons do okay versus infantry, not great. They'll mostly knock them around, but they will get a little bit of poke damage in, so it's mostly fine. Queen Bess is leaving her fortress. No, Queen Bess, no! High Elves are winning the poll from you guys. Vampire Coast. Everybody's voting against Neckbet. Well, that's what makes him stronger. High Elves and Chaos are almost tied on the poll for who will win it all. Nobody believes in the Vampire Coast, and a couple people believe in the Dwarves. Nasty Queen Bess shot. Takes out half health of a Quarreler unit and accidentally hits the Carronades. But Queen Bess, she's left the safety of her little fortress. No! She's gonna get shot in the face. Run, Bessie, run! Get out of there! The call is coming from inside the house, dear God! Alright, she gets one more shot off, and then she's definitely dead. Bessie, no! Hard to be OP healing. Yeah. I had to root for PE. No, Bess isn't dead yet. She's still technically alive before the next volley comes in. There it is. Rest in peace, Bess. Rest in peace. She gave it hell. This cannon crew gets knocked off their mount. Either that or all their mounts are dead. Hard to tell. Nope, they're fine. So they are back on their mounts. That's a lot of Slayers. Dwarves are already up on the balance of power, and the zombies are closing in, but like the Dwarves are better in melee combat. The Dwarves have more shooting. I don't see how the Vampire Coast is going to win this. It's going to be heavily on the backs of these Sirens, and I guess Noctilus. Gunnery Whites poking in. The zombie front line doesn't need to advance. You can see what I mean about the cannons. They don't do a lot of damage to the Gunnery Whites, but they're getting there. They're getting the pokes down. So Noctilus was going to heal his friend. I think he canceled it by hitting Arcane Conduit, so he will need to get a cast off quick here. Meanwhile, one cannon crew is running away from a zombie summon. They're very, very injured, and Fellbats are nearby. Neckbet does have a good surround setup. Maybe he can get in there. Now, one thing I shouldn't be so poo-poo about is the Sirens. I mean, Sirens will do okay against Slayers. There's not a lot of magic damage on this Dwarf roster. Thoric Ironbrow brings a lot of magic damage to the table, and that just isn't here. And Pantelinade's build is very thin on melee units. So if like Neckbet can actually get in here and just start scrapping with stuff with these Sirens and shut down some of the ranged units, he should be okay. Sirens are outpacing these Dragonback Slayers and Dwarf Warriors, doing okay as the Scurvy Dogs pile in onto these Quarrelers, really trying to take them out as Slayers from both sides pile in. Everything's a pile now. I just picked one word for the day. It's pile. Everything's a pile. Fuck off. These Sirens are advancing up a little bit. Neckbet's other Sirens are coming back in, and he is going to back out after losing Queen Bess. Just realized it was over. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is one of the hardest fucking matchups for the Vampire Counts in the whole Vampire Coast in the whole game. Dwarfs. Frickin' Dwarfs. Well played to Neckbet, though. Got all the way to semifinals. Repping our boy Count Noctilus on a faction that is considered in some circles as weak as Norska. Get up here is no small feat. And now, between the High Elves and Chaos, one of them has to fight Dwarves. Perfect, awesome Dwarves. Everybody loves seeing Dwarves. Alright, I gotta get the blocker back up before I do something stupid. Before I do a stupid. I'll join Hannadins versus Karadoc, tell them we're ready to go, and I'll update the Photoshop bracket. So Bellegar advances. Big Daddy Noctilus in his colors of kind of the maroonish of his Dread Fleet is down. Hannadins and Karadoc, you're up. You're up. So, ODM has 2 shots to get... Actually, yeah. If Hannadins wins here, ODM wins the final no matter what, because Pantelinade versus Hannadins. For VM, the only horse left in this race, Karadoc, has to win 2 games in a row. Can he do it? Well, it's going to be tough. His first match is against Chaos, which, as I said before, this is not a great matchup for the High Elves. They do not enjoy it in any capacity whatsoever. It's one of the worst. And Hannadins doesn't fuck around. Hannadins is a great Chaos player. Oh, God. All right, low-key, I am hoping Karadoc wins. Nothing against Hannadins. He's my boy. He's great. I kind of want Karadoc to win because I think the High Elves Dwarves matchup is more interesting with more iterations than fucking Chaos and Dwarves for a best of 3. Chaos and Dwarves for best of 3 is just going to be so many Chaos Dwarves with great weapons fighting Longbeards. I'm going to be like, oh my god. If Dwarves win it all, I don't ever want to hear again that they're bad for PvP. Time for the Chad Dwarves to win. No problem, not like it changed anything. The true beta energy, yeah. No, Neckbet had a good solid couple rounds. Like, no memes. Some of the replays he sent in were really good. Really good. Like games where it was just super one-sided. I don't know. Coast is one of those factions that when I play them, I'm like, yeah, this faction's shit. And when you see someone good play them, you're like, never mind, this faction's strong. Alright. Hannadins is ready. Karadoc's is working on some stuff. Pantelinade's probably not super happy about this semifinal because High Elves are considered a counter to Dwarves. I would argue that after Thoric came out, it wasn't as true, but since we have Bellegar and not Thoric, I think Karadoc's faction would be favored. Now, I guess Larry isn't the best Lord to take in that matchup, but still. So he's not happy. Pantelinade's probably not happy to see the High Elves. And it depends on whose side you're on. Some Dwarf players say Dwarves are favored into Chaos. Some Chaos players say Dwarves are favored. And then vice versa. So I guess that's an even matchup, but I don't hear a lot of Dwarf players enjoy the Chaos matchup. So I think Pantelinade's hoping both players lose. And out of nowhere comes an Empire player. In the dreaded third semifinal, an Empire player advances, and we have Empire Dwarves for 3 fucking games. Anticity VP versus Dwarves make it look so VP favored. Anticity blank versus anything makes it look so blank favored. Can we just say that? Like, Anticity's built different. Void Laws is built different. Evenstar is built different. You can't just, like, I love that argument. Because it's true. Like, Cyrus, you have a point. But I love when someone comes up to me and they're like, you know, when Ice Power plays Dark Elves, like, he can make that build work. Well, Ice Power's a better fucking Dark Elf player than I'll ever be. Alright? Or like, oh, Vampire Counts versus anti-Vampire Count faction. This faction is literally built from the ground up to beat Vampire Counts. Well, Void Laws can win it. Cool! Tell me when somebody besides Void Laws can win that matchup. Because it's abysmal. Same as, like, Domination in Warhammer 3. People keep sending me stuff about, like, Anticity says this is good. And I'm like, tell me when a real human being... Yeah, sorry. Tell me when, like, a real human being, what they think about this matchup. Because, like, Anticity's opinions are, like, they're good. They're good opinions. I'm not trying to besmirch the man. But, like, he's like, yeah, a toothpick is a hard counter for dwarves. Just, like, watch me do this. Amazing, incredible micro, and the toothpick kills everybody. And I'm like, I'm gonna try a toothpick? Oh, it broke right away. Oh, fuck, I lost the game. Turns out if I'm not as good as Anticity, I lose with this shit. Ent's been going to town, dude. He's won a lot of tournaments recently. Now, I guess in Turn's tournament yesterday, I heard he lost. But isn't his overall win record on Total Tavern something fucking ridiculous? Have you tried Tactics? Oh, I didn't try Tactics. All right, let's rejoin this lobby. Hannadins was on ultra unit size, it looks like, so we just had to remake the lobby. We'll be getting into game soon. Sorry for the delay. It's okay versus chaos on small maps. Anything with a lot of ground to cover. For dwarves, it's GG. I see. Certain players are just miles better than most of us? Yeah, exactly. Even Bunny's shit depth guard rush versus chaos looks better than when I tried it. I failed horribly. Depth guard are the saddest unit in game 2. I would actually go to bat for them being the saddest unit of game 2. There are worse units 1v1, but then when you factor in the cost, I think it's just hands down depth guard are terrible. Anticity brought 2 meme-ish builds on Turn's tourney yesterday. That's why he lost. Yeah, that tracks. Its win rate has to be up 90%. Yeah. I think Houseplant was also up there with him, right? Houseplant had an insane win rate, too. Those guys are real good. If you want to smash everyone, just play quick battle. Hey Palpatine, how you doing? How you doing? Kolek was defeated, Papa Palps, but he gave it hell. It was actually a really good game if you want to go back and watch. You can't say a lot of Dwarf games were interesting, but this Dwarf versus Chaos game was actually pretty tight. I liked it. I don't know if it's a Warhammer 2 thing or a Warhammer... like, Warhammer 2 versus Warhammer 3, or a player thing, but whenever I'm watching Warhammer 2 games, sure there's some jank, sure there's some stuff like that, like I'm not trying to rose-tinted glasses this, but we had some incredible games that were, like, really exciting. And it's hard to tell if, like, it's the quality of the players. Like, a lot of really great players are just bored of Warhammer 3, so then when we host a Warhammer 2 tournament, or Mr. Teufel hosts a Warhammer 2 tournament, we get the big guns back, and, like, you just see some really wild shit. Or if the game is just designed better. Because I'm just, like, wondering. I don't know. Because the last few games we saw today were fucking nuts. Ent is 90.9%, while Houseplant is 87.9%. That's still pretty high. Almost 88% win rate is pretty freaking high. All right, both players are ready. We're getting into it. Sorry for the delay. Who's gonna go fight dwarves for best of 3? Chaos or High Elves? The vote would say whoever wins this battle wins the whole thing, because Chaos and High Elves are by far number 1 and 2 in the vote. More tools for the factions as a whole and better players, yeah. Warhammer 2 has much more variety, and the players have so many more hours in the factions. I agree. And dwarves just need the love. Where is the love? Papa Palps, speaking of fun things that are fun, oh lord, this build is wild. Anyway, I'll get to that real quick. Did you know that after the formation attack changes, Chosen are only going to have 2 more melee defense than Jade Warriors? I have a video coming out about it soon. But Jade Warriors are going to have 2 less melee defense than Chosen. if they have Harmony. No spells, just Harmony. If they're standing next to an archer, they will have 57. Sorry, 3, not 2. But they'll have 57 melee defense for a 500 gold unit. The only other units with higher melee defense than that are Chosen and Ironbreakers. That is wild. That is wild. I think Celestial Dragon Guard, if they're standing next to a ranged unit with the formation attack buffs that are coming in 2.0, will have more melee defense than anything else in the game. I think. I didn't do the math on that one perfectly. I know they'll beat Chosen. It's just whether or not they beat Ironbreakers. So, like, Cathay is going to become just better at what dwarves want to do than dwarves. And then they get cavalry and monsters, which is great. Meanwhile, Ratboy is 50% maybe on Total Tavern. On Total Tavern, probably less than that, because it's only Domination mode that gets tracked, and I am dog shit at Domination mode, because I haven't played a ton of it. Like, oh wow, the thing I have never practiced I'm bad at? Shit game mode. I'm not instantly good at it, I hate it. Fuck that game mode. Jokes. I refuse myself to be identifiable as such a paltry thing as a Ren rate. Cathay could have saved the old one all along, they just didn't care to. Yeah, Cathay is kind of weird in the Gotrek and Felix books too, where like, Gotrek and Felix keep sucking Cathay's dick about how great Cathay is, and I'm like, well then where are they? The world's going to hell in a handbasket. They're like, oh man, if only Cathay was using their magic. Oh, Cathay's so good. Oh, I love Cathay. And I'm like, well, get Cathay out here. Their Celestial Dragon Emperor has known this is coming for 200 years. Well, what did he do about it? I don't know, but God, he's great. Anyway, that's funny. Is that with Miao Ying in human form on base Harmony? That's with Miao Ying nearby. Or Zhao Ming would do the same, yeah. Bad at Dom, you can't comment on the game anymore? True. Can we just ban Cathay and land battle tourneys? We'll have to see how playoffs goes, my friend. Anyway, for the builds, Karadoc has an all-cavalry build with 4 Illyrian Reaver archers, Alarielle on her Phoenix. We have 2 Lion Chariots of Praise. We have Illyrian Reavers, Dragon Princes, the Fireborn, a Mage of Fire, and an Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower. Coming in at 326 models. It is above the model count. It's perfectly legal. It is fine. I don't think that formation attack buff is going to fly. Hopefully not. On the other side, we have Chaos Chariots, Chaos Marauders, Chosen, Marauders. We have some Skirmish Cav, looks like 3 Marauder Horsemen with throwing axes, all 3 of them with throwing axes, no basic Javelin styles. We have a Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Fire, a Chaos Feral Manticore, and the Summoners of Rage with a couple dogs to support. So the High Elves are going to try and kite. I don't really believe in the firepower of Illyrian Reaver Archers. I'm just not that type of person. I don't think they will do that much. But Lion Chariots are nuts. They'll have to stay away from the Summoners of Rage, though. Summoners of Rage will eat those Lion Chariots for breakfast. Lion Chariots are pushing away from the Chaos Chariots. The Chaos Chariots are just kind of being annoying. They're a little bit of mass that stops the Lion Chariots from going wherever they want to. You can see one of them is actually stuck back there because of the Chaos Chariot, bogging it down in some Chaos Marauders. If this Manticore notices it, he could attack it. Also, if the attack orders work, he might run off and attack something random for no reason. Fireborn get a really nice charge up onto some Chaos Marauders and dogs, doing good work there. Yeah, it looks like this Lion Chariot was getting poked at by the Fire Sorcerer Lord, but it will not matter as much. Manticore does get rampaged into the Skirmish Cav, meaning he's going to follow them to the end of time and take a bunch of damage, but the Summoners of Rage get a fight with the Dragon Princes for just a little bit. It doesn't look like they actually connect any damage, but more poke goes onto the Tirnoch Chariot. Now again, Karadoc is playing the big heals faction of the High Elves, with Alarielle just laughing nearby, ready to take care of this when she needs to. Ooh, big catch. Illyrian Reavers catching the Marauder Horsemen. Okay, for a second I thought those were Dragon Princes. Never mind. It's a medium catch. It's a medium catch. On deadliest catch, this would be a dangerous catch at best. Meanwhile, the real Dragon Princes start fighting some Chaos Marauders. This might be a big catch. The Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Fire does catch the Lion Chariots of Grace. He's going to do some good damage. Meanwhile, the Manticore is taken out by the Skirmish Cav of the High Elves. The High Elves are deployed awfully close to the white line. I'm not saying that for rule break reasons. I'm saying that because if anything routes backwards, it's probably not coming back, which could be good for Chaos, as they are a slow walking wall of damage walking straight at you with their double Chosen. This Chaos Chariot's just gonna ford his way into the sea of Illyrian Reaver archers. He ain't scared of shit over there, that's very funny. And Alarielle gets a huge heal off onto the Fireborn, who are currently fighting the Summoner's Rage, but if the Summoner's Rage can charge up their Chain Lightning and throw that into the middle of what's going on here, that would be huge. But a big breath attack from the dragon is gonna take out the damage from The Fireborn, they're getting so low even after all this healing. The healing's going to wear off in like a second, and those boys are still going to be that low on health. Big play here from Hannadins on the Summoners of Rage, really trying to take out those Fireborn, the elite cav. Meanwhile, the other Dragon Princes are running rampant, and I do worry the Chosen will not have much to do. This one's already at 1/3 health missing, and I can't even find the other Chosen. This is how fucked up this is. There he is. It's about 2/3 health. Now the Fireborn are routing, and Hannadins has caught another Lion Chariot with his Lord for just a second before Throwing Axe Cav are going to start making mincemeat of it. It has missile resist, but not that much. And Summoners of Rage getting big picks. Now, for Karadoc, he has tons of Skirmish Cav left. They're doing just fine. They have half ammunition. Again, I don't believe in their ammunition. I just don't think they do that much damage, but oh well. They're there. They exist. Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower has been mostly left alone for the time, and some Chaos Marauders are going to try and take advantage of that. A bold decision by Hannadins to throw the Chaos Fire Lord right over all of these Skirmish Cav. Well, I don't think they do a ton of damage. They do some, and Dragons are giant targets. They don't miss anything over there. Lion Chariot of Crace is routed off. Dragon Princes do rally. It looks like Hannadin's Skirmish Cav was caught napping just a little bit, but was it all a bait? Was it all a bait? As the Dragon Ogres come in from the side, they're going to hit some of the Fireborn. Healing Cap well within sight and losing models rapidly. This is a very, very close game so far. More Chosen are running past the Mage of Fire. They should probably just turn and hit her for a little bit. Though she is on a horse, she'll probably just walk away. Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower is forced to run for it. And Alarian Reaver archers might be coming into melee and try and help over there. Dragon Princes... No, Alarian Reaver is getting dragged lower and lower. Manticore is diving after Alarielle. Maybe going to force her to use another Tempest. I don't know, but it might even just break for literally no reason. All right, goodbye, Manticore. See you later, buddy. Chaos is ahead on the balance of power. I think it's early to call that. I think it's early to call anything. There's still plenty of this left to be played. Dragon Prince is taking some throwing axes. At this point, the throwing axe cav had nothing to say in the early skirmish phase of the game. They can't do shit about that. But once it comes down to whittling down heavy cavalry, throwing axes are good at that. These Chosen have had better days. They're very tired. They're like, please, for the love of God, someone just fight us. Don't run away. Just fight us. And Source Lord of Fire is coming over to have words. Words, I say! Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower is officially going to be routed off by the Chaos Chariot. Fireborn are coming back with desperate amounts of health, but really good models. If they get more healing, they could actually be just fine. That is a half-health Chosen. Lion Chariots of Crace are going to have to take him out, and it's up to Chaos to try and kill them before they do that. Big charge, does a little bit of damage, and they get slightly stuck. If their micro is not perfect here from Karadoc, they could actually get ground down. Chosen do not fuck around. Even without armor piercing, they're just high weapon strength and high stats. I mean, they will land a lot of hits. Fireborn and the Chariot's going to pull away, taking a little bit of damage from throwing axes. Karadoc's Skirmish Cav is running out of ammunition very, very fast, and the Chaos Chariot abandoned the Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower to help chase off these other Chariots. That does mean the Bolt Thrower could get back on its mounts, but its mounts are very, very far away, so I think Hannadins is just okay with that. Skirmish Cav is tearing down a lot of the throwing axes. Throwing axes are desperately dodging, just waiting for them to run out of ammunition so they can be used as quote-unquote archer units in the late game and really punish down these Chariots. Excellent kite play from both factions. Really, really solid stuff. Chosen get charged once again by Dragon Princes, and they start chewing back onto the Dragon Princes as the Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Fire lands. It's so risky. He gives himself Cascading Fire Cloak because he really doesn't want to get wrapped up here, and if he does, he needs to not take any damage on the charge. Now, this could be a bait, especially since he has 64 melee defense. He's just trying to protect himself as the big Summoners of Rage charge is coming in. This is a desperate gambit from Chaos, but it could work as the Dragon Ogres finally get to connect. It was just luring the High Elves to actually take a fucking fight. Chaos just wants to fight you. They want to fight you and they want to win. Dragon Ogres get a rear charge onto some of these Dragon Princes who are now routing off. The Fireborn are so low, and these Chariots are forced to run away. That did end up working out for Hannadins, but man, it was stressful. Chain Lightning chucked up by the Summoners was trying to hit some Alarian Reavers, but Karadoc was not caught sleeping. He ran away immediately. Chaos is chasing these routing units, really don't want to let the Fireborn Dragon Princes come back. We catch the Eagle Claw Bolt Throwers before they were able to officially get back on their mounts, and Chaos is really taking control of this game right now. We have some Skirmish Cav that's out of ammo, and we have two Chariots that are extremely low, and the Summoners of Rage are still here. The Summoners of Rage could kill those Chariots at any amount of health. Fireborn rally for their last time, and they will shatter this time. We're done seeing them. Or are we? As they charge back in, the Firebolt won't be broken by shit. The Fireborn don't break for no man. They're fighting to the very end, as the Marauder Horsemen throwing axes have no more throwing axes, just making them Marauder Horsemen. A rear charge from the Fire Sorcerer Lord should take out the Fireborn at last, but is it an overextension from Hannadins? The Summoners of Rage are not nearby enough, as other Dragon Princes are going to charge on him. And the Fireborn are still fucking here. They're tower routing, but they're not naturally routing. They're going to rally from this. And it looks like the Summoner's Rage were close enough to deter those chariots from really trapping in the Fire Sorcerer Lord. The blob of Chaos infantry is still out here fighting. And meanwhile, a Chaos Chariot is just 1v1ing a whole bunch. I mean, I shouldn't say 1v1ing. 1v like 65. A whole bunch of Illyrian Reavers as some Chaos Marauders try to help out. But they, you know, they're not chosen. They can't do shit about this. Karadoc's running away over here because he is fighting on this side. Attacking rules are being obeyed. Don't worry, I'm still paying attention. All right. Let's go. Let's go. Catching up on this, Cathayan Dwarves and land battles as long as he foresees his doom. No chosen great weapons means High Elves have a chance at least. Chariots could deal with those, maybe. It's locked. Actually, maybe Reavers can carry a melee. Maybe. Maybe. So Chaos rallied up. So did the High Elves. High Elves are healing, and all of a sudden the High Elves are ahead on the balance of power this time. Larry's throwing more healing on the Lion Chariots. Their healing cap is coming closer. And the Fireborn, despite their healing cap being up on the bar, you can see they are not getting healed anymore. Neither are these other Dragon Princes. Or is that just lag? I don't know. They didn't look like they were getting healed, so... They might be, like, model heal capped? I don't know. I don't know. Somebody's gonna comment on the video and be like, you're dumb and stupid and here's what actually happened. And you're probably right. I just don't know things. Seems fine. The Chaos Blob is advancing a little bit. This is why I voted for Norska Light TM instead of Elves. Oh, Chaos. Okay. They just can't win with their units. They're so overpriced. They always have a numerical disadvantage. Quick Fireball cast from Karadoc. Just getting a little bit of poke onto the Fire Sorcerer Lord. Don't see any reason not to. And these Summoners of Rage are going to have to carry the game. Summoners of Rage and Chosen supporting them can do a lot of damage. We saw earlier in the day, Chaos versus Dwarves. The Dwarves came back from behind because they actually had more elite units on the field. It's just the balance of power really favors single entities. And the same could be said here in the other way, where the High Elves are currently inflated due to, you know, oh, they have Lion Chariots. But yeah, Summoners of Rage can take care of them in an instant. Now, big charge in here from Karadoc, just committing to the fight before the Lion Chariots and Fireborn can come in from the back. Illyrian Reavers are going to have a mass rout. Another Fireball pokes down the Chaos Sorcerer Lord, and he gets off one Burning Head really quickly before he routs. He does get it off, meaning they get the Discouraged Aura, and a lot of these guys are going to terror out. The Chosen are still fine. The Summoners of Rage are still fine. Sorcerer Lord is fucking off. Balance of power goes very far against Chaos as the High Elves are running all over, and it looked so good for Hannadins in the mid game, but he just couldn't capitalize fully on it. The Fireborn somehow stuck in the fucking fight. Somehow. And all that healing from Alarielle is wild shit. Wild shit. Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Fire does rally, throws out a Desperate Breath attack against Alarielle, but she is going to take the fight against him. He throws down Cascading Fire Cloak, but he takes a nasty shot on the charge. That is going to get rid of him. Larry is probably going to chase him down with a weird little animation there. Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Fire only has 11 HP. He's not coming back. And Chosen plus the Summoners of Rage just can't find the fight they are looking for. These are not the droids you're looking for. This is not the game you're looking for. Chaos will fall. Friendly fire on the Fireball doesn't even matter. Army losses hits without the Lord. And it is over. Very, very well played game by both players. Palpatine saying that's why you want Chosen with great weapons. They are pretty good. They are pretty good. Regular Chosen both did fine. Hannadin's Lord did okay, considering it was a caster Lord. Not that great in melee. Throwing Axes did really well. Manticore did fine. Summoner's Rage did great. And his Chariot did great. Both players should be proud of this game. It was, to quote the late, great Steve Irwin, a fucking banger. I'm not Steve Irwin. It was Steve Irwin, though. Dragon Princess got good value. Illyrian Reaver Archers did just fine. Bolt Thrower got shut down. Lion Chariots didn't get their value back, but they were good centerpieces. GG indeed. Alright. Rat Finals. 1, 2, 3. Host game as spectator. Boom. Game's up. Copy code. Send to Karadoc. Send to Pantelinade. And the finals is a best of 3, which means I have to change the screen. Oh no! We can't see nothing! We can't see nothing! I know, I'm working on it. Give me a second. Okay, I gotta go over here because this is Warhammer 2. The players are just working on getting into the lobby, so you're not missing anything. Get the Warhammer 2 up. Boop. Shbeep. Put it in the background so I get all my fancy stuff back. Hooray! Gotta get my blocker. Gotta get my blocker. Karadoc's here. I have 2 messages. Pantelinade says he's coming. Bob Tresh is pinging me about shit I don't care about, because I don't care about you, Bob Tresh. Alright, Karadoc's in, so I know Pantelinade will be on the left side. And then I gotta check what map we're doing here. VM's Karadoc versus ODM's Pantelinade. Bellegar versus Alarielle. The War of the Beard, even. Oh, dick. I always spell Pantelinades wrong. Close enough. I'll update it when he gets in here, because then I can see what his name's spelled like. That or I could check my Discord in a second. I always get it wrong. Pantelinade. Holy shit, I got it right on the first try, like, for the first time ever. Alright, what's the map? We can't see nothing? I'm working on it. Where's the maps? I gotta find the challenge page from Zypher, not Zypher, Mr. Teufel. I didn't have it up because I didn't want spoilers. I actually didn't know how some of these ended. Okay. Prague, Oakenhammer, and Valley of Thieves. Okay, I can do that. Prague. Maps set, best of 3, GLHF. Maps set, best of 3, GLHF. All right. Prague, Oakenhammer, and Valley of Thieves. Thanks, Mr. Teufel. I did find it eventually. Your count looks good. It does! Warhammer 2 does very well. Very, very well. Also, not streaming against Turn and Anticity at the same time also helps. Okay. Suffer more from Skirmish Cav, though, without shields. Oh, you're talking about the Chosen Great Weapons? Yeah. I have no faith in those horse archers whatsoever to stick around and do anything. They did okay, yeah. Dragon Princes have been making a name for themselves in this tournament, which is nice. It's nice to see a good cavalry play, because Warhammer 3 still has a lot of issues with cavalry. Like, not to constantly shit on Warhammer 3. I know I've been very negative about it. There are things about it that are positive. They're just... I think the negative things are so frustrating because they shouldn't be happening. Which sounds odd. Oh, just don't do dumb things. Well, yeah, okay. That's easy to say. It may be harder to do. But it's like, Warhammer 2 had these things fixed. And then Warhammer 3, like, re-broke them. I think that's why so much of the community is frustrated at 3. That and the factions are just not the most fun designed. Domination mode or not, even if land battles was the base mode of Warhammer 3, I think there'd still be a vocal chunk of people that would be displeased because the factions are just not designed to be particularly fun and interesting. So, I don't want to shit on 3 all the time. 3 made a lot of improvements on certain things and added a new game mode, which isn't easy. Domination's fine. I don't hate it being in the game. Campaign's better. I would say campaign's better in mechanics. Now, again, we're missing a lot of factions, but like mechanics-wise, campaigns are better, in my opinion. So, if you're out there and you're enjoying Warhammer 3, I'm sorry I'm negative all the time. I just focus on what I play, which is land battles in the multiplayer scene, and that has been detrimentally affected. So of course I'm going to be negative on it because the thing I like most has been negatively affected, right? Right. Greenskin Skirmish Cav doesn't have a lot of AP either, but they still take down Chosen Great Opens with enough time and pace. Yeah. Chad Warhammer 2 viewer count versus Cringe Warhammer 3. Look at all these non-trash maps. Dude, if you haven't watched my video today, go watch it. I love that video. It takes a lot of work to do live stuff rather than just me recording a bug and slapping the end screen on it. But I had so much fun doing that video, man. How to draw Warhammer 3 maps and like all this silly shit. Please go watch that. I love that video. I love it. Warhammer 3 Cav feels better than Warhammer 2 Cav for me? Really? All right. That's the first time I've heard that, but I am glad you're enjoying it, Mr. Palpatine. I feel a little bad for CA because a lot of the problems with the Demon factions are Game Workshop fault, not CA's. Yeah, I can see that. Art style, it's the only thing good on Game 3, yeah. Demon factions have great campaign effects. It feels like they ought to be. They're just a tiny gimped roster. Oh, I see. I did, it was great. Thanks, Coops. Thanks. Yeah. I think sometimes I can be too negative on the game, and I do need to work on that. Because if someone just watches my videos, they see a lot of negative shit about it, and it's like, the positive stuff just isn't sexy to talk about, where it's like, oh, patch 1.3, they fucked up this thing where now ranged units can shoot through melee, and that's stupid. But campaign's still good. It's like, okay, that's not what we're talking about. Like, conversations don't happen that way, where you just tack on, but this thing that was good is still good on the end. Patch 1.3 came out. Well, actually, patch 2.0 is coming out, and Jade Warriors with Formation Attack are going to have more melee defense than, well, slightly less melee defense than Chosen and more than Longbeards. But campaign's still good. It's like it's not super sexy to talk about. All right. Bam, bam, boom. Game 1 of this best of 3 between High Elves and Dwarves. The sleeping unit feature feels great. That does feel incredible. That is awesome. Whenever I go back to play Warhammer 2, I forget so many units because I've already become lazy, and that I can peek at the bottom of my screen and see which units aren't doing anything. And in Warhammer 2, you have to keep track of so much more shit. Yeah, the sleeping units UI is nice. And I keep wanting to change my fucking faction colors in Warhammer 2. I will say that, because Warhammer 3, I always play the ogres as the red and black, but then when I play Warhammer 2, I'm like playing Skaven, and I'm just red no matter what. I can't pick the awesome, edgy Eshin black, or if Klein Pestilence is green, which is my favorite color. And I'm sitting here like, do I nerf myself to get green, and people know I'm bringing Skrulk or a Greyseer, or do I play the main faction and try to win? Anyway, I digress. So, for Pantelinade, we have his beloved Slayers. Slayers all day, Slayers every day. Double cannons, double Slayers, one of which is Dragonback. We have the Giant Slayers. We have 4 Quarrelers to fight the High Elves. That's right, it's High Elves. I was like, this is a weird build versus Chaos. Dwarf Warriors, Dwarf Warriors, Dwarf Warriors, Dwarf Warriors across the front line. And we have Longbeards with great weapons to fight the White Lions. And Bellegar Iron Hammer, of course, of course. On the other side, for Karadoc, we have a front line of White Lions, including the Pure Main Company. We have quadruple Archers, none of which is the ROR. We have double Swordmasters. Fuck yeah, Swordmasters, let's go! All right, double Swordmaster, double Lion Chariots, and Alarielle. I like this build a lot. Recently, I have struggled with White Lions versus Dwarves. It feels like they just lose, so we'll see how he does with them. Karadoc is way fucking better than me at High Elves, but we'll see. For me, they've been struggling because they just get shot by Archers, and Longbeards trade okay with them. Games Workshop needs to let their anti-chaos bias go and let CA actually make some new demon units. There's plenty of Age of Sigmar chaos units if they can / decide to use them. Yeah. I want the demon factions to get some more marked beastmen because more beastmen is always good. Palpatine, I wouldn't be against that. Because one of the problems in Game 3 that isn't like a bug, it's just like unfortunate, is how high the leadership base is. Because I legitimately believe Slaanesh is not a terrible faction. I think Slaanesh has terrible opposition. Because Slaanesh abuses low leadership, and only ogres have low leadership. And it's like, all right, well, if Skaven and Beastmen were in this game, or Greenskins were in this game, Slaanesh wouldn't have so many fucking problems. So, like, Beastmen units could be good for Slaanesh to really feel nice. Because when you play it, dude, Slaanesh is so fun when you get to fucking play them, and you don't have to fight a Cathay box. Like, I love Slaanesh. I love playing Slaanesh, and I didn't think I would. Going into Game 3, I thought Slaanesh was going to be, like, trash. And, well, not trash. Not fun to play. It was like, either they're going to stomp or get stomped. They suck, but they're actually super fun. I love Slaanesh. Slaanesh and Ogres are the most fun I have playing Warhammer 3. It's a shame they're not the best factions right now, but I do enjoy them. All right, I gotta talk about the game. Stop distracting me with your interesting conversation. Stop it. So the cannons of the dwarves are getting what value they can into the white lions before they advance. Karadoc is keeping the lion chariots of Krace well out of range, really making sure they're okay, and the swordmasters in the back are also uncontested. These archers don't have much to do, but what they have to do well. They have to kill the slayers before the chariots get involved, or if the slayers blob on the chariots, they have to shoot them too. They would have to. Larry's out here because that's the lord you have. She has Tempest in case of gyrocopters. She has Earthblood to heal up her front line. That's about it. She doesn't have a lot of great spells in her kit to deal with dwarves. She doesn't have any good vortexes. She doesn't have any good wind spells for them. Any of that things. I thought you were Cathay main. I have recently been having less fun with Cathay because their playstyle is so one note in land battles. It's just like box or lose. Like anytime I don't do a degenerate box, I lose. And whenever I play a degenerate box, I win, but at what cost? I just have no fun playing Cathay, so I haven't been playing a lot of them. They're one of the best factions in land battles. They're really good. I just don't enjoy them at the moment. And I played Skaven through all of Warhammer 2, not because Skaven are good, but because I enjoyed them. So I'm just not the type of player. And it's really hurt me, but I play what I want to play, and then I lose a lot of tournaments because I'm not learning the meta. But I'm okay with that. I'd rather have fun and lose than try and be the statistically best player I could be and still lose to Void Laws and Even Star in the finals anyway. Like, I don't know. It's just me. So these white lions are getting fucked up. As I kind of said, I've also had trouble with white lions in this matchup, but you kind of have to bring them. The white lions that didn't get shot by cannons and archers all game are doing okay in the trades, and the swordmasters have mostly got into melee combat with little issue. They're butchering through these dwarf warriors on the front line, doing good. Giant slayers are getting mowed down by archers at the moment. And aside from that, cannons are also having a bad time. I really wanted to say carronades. Alarielle from Karadoc is going to charge in, not do too much damage, but stop up the quarrelers nicely enough and protect some of the white lions and swordmasters. That is a problem for the high elves, as the white lions and swordmasters are unshielded. Both of them are. The lion chariots have arrived, uncontested by the cannons, and this is where things might get better for the high elves. We're currently falling slightly behind on the balance of power, but with archers in range shooting all the slayers, zoning them away from the lion chariots, without slayers nearby to stop them, the lion chariots are running rampant over the dwarven backline. Frontline went very well for the dwarves. They've killed a lot of white lions. They've even killed a lot of swordmasters. Archers are also getting peeled off. It is up to the chariots to carry this entire game. And as soon as they enter the fight, you see the balance of power swings back to the middle as the high elves get off some nasty charges. And Alarielle is nearby to keep healing these guys up if they need it. She even has Stars of Avalorn almost specifically for them. And as I say that, she uses it on some swordmasters. All right. Guess I am wrong. And those 59 models are going to get a ton of healing. Excellent use from Karadoc of the chariots. Not stopping to really deal damage, he's just stopping the quarrelers from shooting and then fucking off. And that's really good use of chariots. I usually get baited into a big charge. I'm like, oh, the unit's almost dead. And then I stick around and fight for too long, and then the chariots die. It's just like, nope, just charge them, disrupt them, leave, do it again. Very nice stuff. Swordmasters, white lions are now prevalent throughout the dwarven lines. There's just nothing they can do, and I do think the dwarves will be falling soon. Let's see, maybe this one cannonade that's online can get a ton of value. And it actually might. The line chariots are used here to help break this little formation of the dwarves that was holding for too long, but it does leave a cannonade just ready to rip fire into them, and these line chariot of Krace are taking a ton of damage, and it's not even pathing towards the cannon just yet. It's still trying to help other frontline fights. Interesting we see Karadoc and Hannadins. Wait, not Hannadins. It was Kolek. That was Green One. Karadoc and Green One do the same thing. They use their assets instead of like mucking up the backline forever. They just start to win the frontline fights using those assets, and then they'll let the frontline walk up to the backline. It's an interesting choice. This one is looking like a high elf dub, though. I mean, there's tons of archers still online. While they're wounded, they have plenty of ammunition to punish all the slayers. The lion chariots are healthy enough. They have 6 out of 6 models, and Larry can keep healing them forever. Cannons are all shut down. Archers are mostly shut down. There's no carry potential left. AOS Chaos unit would feel completely fine until Warhammer, Mike, for my opinion. But again, Games Workshop hates them for some reason. I want the demon factions to get some more marked beastmen. Okay, yeah, I already caught up at that point, so that's where the chat was. Rinless, you spent 5 minutes looking for this again just for you. Domination mode is perfect. That was a good rant. That was a good rant. I needed to get that out of my system, even if people didn't like it. It's just saying CA is at fault too. They chose those same units cut out of the Mortal Factions for future DLCs. Prince feels like a full faction. The other 4 are like lame offshoots. Yeah. Yeah, Demons of Chaos feel like a full faction. The others don't. The others don't. I haven't talked about the game for a second, but not a lot has been happening. Archers are safe and happy and shooting, and Swordmasters are slamming through Slayers as Pantelinade desperately tries to get some Quarrelers back online and shooting, and while he is doing that, there's just too much healing. There's too many Lion Chariots, there's too many White Lions, and the High Elves are pushing through to a victory. Almost guaranteed. Army losses even agrees with me here. Pretty close. 40k stuff. Slundish is my favorite Warhammer 3 faction, with Khorne being a close second. Why is Khorne a close second? On release, I was attracted to the Khorne faction, where I was like, ooh, edgy metal, heavy metal warriors. This sounds cool. And after playing them for a while, I'm like, this is too slow. You just walk at things, and either it feels like you're waiting for your opponent to make a mistake rather than you play well, is how I feel when I play Khorne. Because it's like, if you guys play perfectly, you're just going to box, and I can't do anything about your box, and you're just going to shoot me, and I'm just going to die. I don't know. Khorne frustrates me. It makes me sad. All right. Nice job by the High Elves. Their White Lions didn't get a ton of value, but they did okay. Swordmasters did great. Archers did very, very well. And the Lion Chariots did excellently as well, though their value would not show it. Bellegar actually got some good lumps in. Longgrids of Great Weapons traded okay. Quarrelers traded okay. Cans got some good value if you combine them. And Slayers mostly got shut down by Archers. GG, Karadoc takes the lead. Oh, Pantelinade still has a 1 next to his name. I'm sorry about that. That's supposed to be a 0. My bad. My bad. He does not get a free win. Since CA made Halo Wars 2, did they? Oh. I enjoyed Halo Wars enough. Chaz CT2, that's fair. I hope DLC makes it to the Warhammer factions less one note. True. Charges Chariots in, disrupts formation, refuses to elaborate, leaves. Kolek was Papa? Kolek was not Papa Palpatine, it was green one. Khorne has Scarbrand. 20% block chance on Swordmasters, 30% MR on White Lions. True, they don't have shields, but they do have missile resist. Alright, you win this round. You win this round, the Phoenix King. Oh, the Swordmasters do have shielded, quote-unquote, because of deflect shots. Interesting. The more you know, High Elves edition. Oh, they're both ready already. Okay. It's my High Elf build. I think you can't lose against Dwarves. It's your High Elf build. Who are you, good sir? Khorne has Scarbrand. I'm curious how many changes we'll get to bring in Warhammer 2, 1 and 2 factions on Warhammer 3. CA said they're happy with how Khorne performs. No clue if this change post 1.3. I don't think Game 1 and 2 factions have to come up to Game 3. I think Game 1 and 2 are going to be above a lot of Game 3's factions. In land battles. Domination mode? No idea. No idea. The land battles, I think Game 3 is going to have an issue, because the biggest thing for me is cost. Game 3 units are expensive as fuck, except for Cathay. But like armored Kossars are 650 gold, and that is the basic Kislev frontline unit. Like even Dwarves are said to have an expensive frontline, and theirs is like 450. I don't know, that's going to be tough. Khorne is good in domination and kind of trash in land battles. Yeah, Khorne is good in domination. All known Wars of Chaos are getting a makeover, and CA said the other Total War factions will in time. New animations for units even. That'd be good. Though some of the units like are good because they have simple animations, like Sigvald. Sigvald just swings, and that's why he's good. You don't really want Sigvald to do too much stuff, because that's how you get Queek. Queek has good stats, you just can't use them, because he has too many, like, jump animations, and during his jump, Sigvald can swing, like, 1.5 times. Now, Queek beats Sigvald, yeah, but he's entirely kitted to beat him. That's not what I'm trying to say. But, like, Torlox isn't good because of his stats. His stats are great, and his price point is low, but it's also his mass and his animations get him out of a lot of situations he shouldn't get out of. So, like, sometimes when fancy animations are done well, they can make your unit powerful. But I also worry that if, like, some of the Chaos units that are working just fine now get new animations, they'll actually suck dick. So, I'll believe it when I see it, but I think the Chaos changes might end up hurting them. We'll have to see. I hope not. I want Chaos to have better melee units, so they don't need to rely on 6 skirmish cav to win, like, every game. Tomb Kings are cooler than Cathay. Phoenix King, the Lions have their pelt, and the Swordmasters use their swords to knock arrows out. They have no shields. I hope Skin was gonna charge animation other than the Space Jam. Dude, Kugoth actually has a sick charge animation. I made a video on it recently. It is so hilarious to watch Kugoth charge something in Melee. He, like, slides off of his chair and kicks his little feet a couple times like he's trying to swim. Like, I'm using my hands like his feet right now. He's just like, kick, 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 kick. It's so fucking funny. Oh, I had a great time. This boy myself, yeah. I do have pressure against missiles, yes. Slush is very affordable as well. That is true with the Marauders. I'll give you that. I don't think Nurgle's particularly affordable, because, like, Nurglings are cheaper than a lot of stuff, but would you actually pay, like, $350 for Nurglings if it was on a Game 2 faction? I don't know. Do Nurglings perform as well as, like, Empire Spearmen with shields? I would vote no, but that's just me. Slush has decent cheap units. We all thought the same, yeah. Immune to Psych, which is huge. Yeah. Slash has fine units, they just don't have any range, which really hurts them. No range and no good single entities to duel other single entities. Like, Soul Grinders of Slanesh do okay, but without any healing support or anything, they'll lose to everything else. And that's the thing about single entities, is single entities need support. There's not a single entity on the planet that can function alone in a vacuum and do well. And Slanesh has that issue where it's like, Soul Grinders are good, but what backs them up? They don't get any help. Slanesh needs flying or range, true. Standard unit cost, Slanesh is the cheapest. Not everybody gets to spam out the rats, alright, true. Slanesh Marauders are really good for their price. Yes. Dahlia is an expensive frontline with 450. The cheapest high elf unit is 475. Well, nobody likes elves. Alright, we're going to actually talk about this game. So there was a long kiting period. So Pantelinade entirely went the other direction, and Karadoc kept the exact same build. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And Pantelinade went for the fences. We have 3 gyrocopters with brimstone guns. We have the Skyhammer, Bellegar Iron Hammer, a Master Engineer to give reload. We have the Goblabas, 1 unit of Giant Slayers, and then the Grumbling Guard, Norglings Ironbreakers, other Ironbreakers, and Longbeards with great weapons. So very tight Dwarven box, mixed with a lot of gyrocopters. Now, I imagine Alarielle's Tempest is going to be very useful here, and I'm kind of surprised we haven't seen more Tempest already, though I think Karadoc's waiting for a good point where, right here, I'm betting we're going to get a Tempest because there's 2 archer units that can punish the extremely slow gyrocopters when they're hit with the Tempest, but it doesn't come. The big sad. The big sad I am. Oof. Slight miss there on the gyrocopters of Pantelinade, and Alarielle is just going to run them down at this point. She gets a nice solid hit in, and the archers are even getting in good poke. Now, while this is all happening, archers are taking punishment from the Goblaba, but Skyhammer's taking some damage. I think the High Elves are pretty fine with how this is mapping out, and I think we're getting a rock drop here. Yes, we are. Well, not a rock drop, the other one. Owie, owie, owie. Tempest slows down the Skyhammer. It doesn't do a lot of damage to a single entity, but what it does do is stop you from dodging, and look at all the arrows pouring in. Oh, the poor Skyhammer. Ow, it hurts. Oh, my little body. Meanwhile, these gyrocopters with brimstone guns are caught out by Alarielle. They don't realize they're being attacked in melee just yet, as the Skyhammer was probably eating up a lot of Panta's micro as he tried to save it from itself, from its sins. But it is going to run away. Its leadership is so low, and it's fast enough that it might just fly straight off the map with its little body. High Elves take a decent lead on the balance of power for how early in the game we are, and Ironbreakers get their first chance to go pew, 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 pew. More bombs are dropped. I didn't even think these guys had bombs left, honestly, after all the bomb dropping. Another gyrocopter is caught yet again by Alarielle, and she is just putting the beat down on that poor little helicopter. Some of the archers are being routed. The Skyhammer's officially gone. That Brimstone gun is almost gone. And Giant Slayers are trying to put their work into the Lion Chariots of Grace, but there's not a lot that can really stop them. Now the Goblobber is an Archer Fire, and I think this is going to be a GG. And the High Elves will probably win it. I just don't see the Dwarves panning out here. New animations. They said new animations for mounted Chaos units to go along with the ponies getting upsized. Oh, I see. I would be okay with Sigvald being awful again. I don't want anyone to be awful. I just don't want him to be as broken as he is. But I was just saying that, like, new animations aren't always a good thing if they're poorly executed. Chaos don't have much to rely on. Skirmish Cav. Chaos doesn't have to rely on Skirmish Cav in most matchups, actually. It's a lot of players have tunnel vision towards it right now. I'll trust your opinion on that, Mr. Palpatine, because you are a quite good Chaos player, so I'll believe you this time. But mark my words, I will not be so forgiving again. If you ever contradict my opinion on a faction I know little about. Number 2, I have Eagles and Tempest in my build versus Dwarves. Dread Saurian with Vivification Crystals is going to be super annoying in Domination since healing is % based. Oh god, that is so true. Stop boxing, hubby? I'll try. Basic Archers won't crack double Iron Breakers. True, but Lion Chariots will. Thanks. Thanks, Aminophis. That was pretty good. I liked that. Where's that High Elf fanboy? Forgot his name. Knighthood? Oh, Knighthood? I don't know. He popped in for a stream recently. I miss Knighthood. He was a G. The last of the gyrocopters are getting zoned off, and soon we will just have a filthy dwarven box to deal with. Swordmaster's being full HP, though. Plenty of healing from Alarielle. I do think this is doomed. Swordmasters will body Iron Breakers, no problem. No problem. At all. Bellegar's running out there to solo the entire High Elf army. He says, come fight me, you gits. Guess you can never trust on the micro of a dwarf player. Phoenix King taking shots at my boy Pantelinade. What has Pantelinade ever done from you? Okay. I got a message. I'll deal with that later. The dwarves are filtering out. They just want a good scrap. They want a good honest bout. Drink a Bugman's with the boys and then punch the boys in the nose. I just joined. I've never watched anything like this before. Could someone explain? Jack the Ripper, you are entering at the end of the stream. What you are watching is filthy dwarven scum being piloted by a very nice gentleman that I enjoy very much. But filthy dwarven scum getting punished for being dwarves. They are slow, and High Elves with their nimble little Legolas feet are dodging everything they try to do. And that's about all there is to say to this. It is a best of 3. If the High Elves win this, the stream is over. I'm sorry you joined late. Hopefully, you hit the subscribe button, and then you'll be notified of any future things. Or you can go back and watch. It has been a banger fucking stream. I will say that with no bias in my heart at all. It's been a banger fucking stream. So if you do not find this particularly entertaining, you can rewind it and watch some incredible games from some incredible players. It was a great tournament. Mr. Teufel is also in the chat. He organized this whole event. So if anybody out there is enjoying this, not just new people, do please give him a shout out in the chat. Say, thank you, Mr. Teufel, for hosting all this. You are an excellent gentleman. And Human Boy, shut the fuck up. You're a stupid, dumbass caster who just shows up after other people did all the work and you take all the glory, which I do. Thank you for the glory. Thank you for the billions of dollars I make off of this enterprise. But I did very little for this event. It was all Mr. Teufel. It was all Mr. Teufel, a little bit of Zypher, a little bit of Cuden, and Koops. Koops was there for moral support. It does look like Karadoc will be our winner for today, and the High Elves. High Elf players around the world moaning that their faction sucks, that their faction needs buffs, that their faction is poop, and they win the faction war. High Elves are pretty broken. Nerf, please. Nerf all the High Elves. Well played, Karadoc. Well played. Let's go. Are you ready for the Skaven and their billion of DLCs in Warhammer 3? I am excited for the Skaven. I don't think they need any more DLCs. Like, their roster feels really complete. Just give me Thanquil. And then that's about it. Like, that's really it. Like, not to downplay Skaven, but their roster is so full. So full. And, like, anything else you do to their roster at this point, you just risk breaking the faction in the worst way. Like, well, Skaven don't have any cavalry. Give them cavalry. No. That's the point. That's their faction identity. Well, Skaven don't have any high leadership, unbreakable monsters. Give them some of that. No, stop it. You're breaking my faction. So, like, they're fine. They're set how they are. They have their weaknesses. They have their strengths, and they're beautiful at both of them. But that is a distraction. We will not get distracted from congratulating Karadoc and Pantelinade and Neckbeck and Hannadins and the green one. And shit, who else played today? Rusty. And who did Rusty play first? He played Panto and he lost. Okay, who else played today? Razel. Am I forgetting anybody off the top of my head? Loopy. And then who played Anarian? The Phoenix King. Thank you all for playing on today's stream, sending in your replays. That was very nice of you. Some of you ended up in bad matchups, but you stuck through it anyway because you are Giga Chads. We have 50 viewers today. That's the most we've had since End Ladder Finals. If you like Warhammer 2 content, I do try to run one Warhammer 2 tournament a week. Might turn it up to 2. I also have Warhammer 3 land battles going on right now, called the Vermin League. We're doing playoffs the rest of the month. And also when Immortal Empires releases, we'll be running tournaments. So, join up. Play some games with us. It'll be fun. Or subscribe and listen to me rant about shit you don't care about forever. There is a prize for this tournament. It was announced in the conception phase, but I don't know if a lot of people read that message, so I didn't want to mention it in case people, like, worried about tryharding or having fun, because it was supposed to be a fun thing. But I'll contact Karadoc about that prize. The prize is I have an artist from my days in the board game industry who drew me a bunch of nice things. Image file. One second. Everybody calm down. Who drew me a bunch of nice things. Like this. Like all of my faction stuff I use for my thumbnails. He drew those. And he also drew the emotes we use on our Discord. So I will hit up Karadoc and I will get him connected with that artist. And Karadoc plus the artist will be designing an emote for our Discord chat. It doesn't have to be Warhammer related. I will give him the guidelines, but basically just don't make it a massive throbbing penis and we'll be fine. Just, as long as it's not like PG-13 or under, it's fine. So Karadoc will be designing a new emote for our Discord. And that is the only prize other than the glory shared by all of you. Thanks for hanging around today. It was a great stream. It was a great time. Goodbye. I am leaving. Pantelinade, you did do your best. I'm proud of you. Did anyone play Tomb Kings? Yes, they did. They were great. Hey, boy, just joined, but hella gonna watch the games back. Thank you, Cameron Herselman. Crabling, great idea with the engineer. Hey, Crabling, how you doing? Catching up with the chat, seeing if there's anything I have to see. Give Skaven rat dragons or something. Rat dragons. All right. I'm leaving. You all have a great day.